All right, guys, we are back in the garage for another video, and today we are celebrating 10,000 subscribers. I almost can't believe that I'm actually saying that, but yes, we have finally hit 10K on the channel. So we're going to kind of jump into your regularly scheduled programming and just have like a more laid back video to celebrate hitting that milestone. This is a really huge deal for me, and I really do thank you guys for helping me get there. I know this is something that's not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things as far as YouTube is concerned. They don't send me a plaque or anything like that. And even with like the algorithm, a lot of stuff really doesn't rely on having subscribers. Everything's about views and watch time. You know, that means that you're watching a lot of ads. That's what pays content creators and that's what pays YouTube. So that's where a lot of their focus for getting content out is kind of, circled around. But as an actual content creator, subscribers mean a whole lot. You guys are the ones that are describing to hit that red button and tell me, you mess with me. You want to see when my new videos come out. You want to keep up to date with things that are going on with my build and, just different discussions that I'm trying to host. So yeah, I really, really do appreciate everybody that has subscribed to the channel. Just let me know down in the comments, how did you find out about my videos? Did you see me through YouTube or Facebook, Instagram? Wherever you found out about me, leave a comment down below and let me know. I'd be curious to see where all of you guys are coming from. Now, in this video, to celebrate, I'm going to give you a little bit of history about me and tell you guys why I create the videos that I do. This is something that I haven't done for a long time. I've been making videos consistently for about 2 years, and I'm not some just aspiring YouTuber that just wants to make this a career or anything. But this was a great way for me to get my message out, and I have a lot of history building other cars and stuff. So in this video, I'll kind of talk a little bit about that. For those of you guys that don't want to hang around, long story short, this is just kind of the content I wish I had when I started getting into car modding, But yeah, I'll tell you guys about some of the mistakes I made and things that I learned that motivated me to start creating these videos and putting content up on YouTube. Now, before we get into that, really quick, just a reminder, I have a bunch of social media channels out there that you guys can follow me on. I am on Instagram, same name, Kern417. I also have a Facebook page dedicated to my YouTube content, Kern417 YouTube, and I am on TikTok as well. I'm making different content on there, obviously, working on kind of doing some different things to see if I can get that going, because that's kind of one of my guilty pleasures. I really do enjoy TikTok. But yeah, if you guys are into any of those, definitely follow me on your preferred social media channel. I'll be posting different stuff than what I post on YouTube, and especially on Instagram and Facebook. I can keep you guys up to date, sharing different things before I even can create a video on it. So it's a nice way to just keep up to date with videos even before I post. Also, there's still merch for sale. I'll have the link down in the description as well. I'm wearing one of my latest designs, just a downpipe and a Brody tune. This is kind of one for the OGs, and if you know kind of scenario. But if you guys know about the Legend of Brody, this should definitely resonate with you. Even if it doesn't, I have plenty of other designs on the website, and I will be coming out with more designs soon. So definitely check that out. That's a great way to support the channel. And if you guys are interested in buying something for the next couple days, you can use code KERN10K, and that will get you an additional 5% off of your order. Just as a thank you again for everybody that has been supporting. And if you've been on the fence about, buying merch or the price of the hoodies and stuff, this will make it a little bit easier. So again, a big thank you to everybody that has bought merch so far. And finally, I also still have channel memberships live. I talked about this in some of my more recent videos, but just as a reminder, channel memberships are $5 a month. Great way to support the channel. And I'm going to be using channel membership funds to buy parts for my car. All of those parts will be used for videos, and after the videos are made, I will be giving those parts away to a channel member. So if you're one of the channel members when that video is posted, I'll give that part away, and somebody in that pool will be able to win something. I most recently gave away a high pressure fuel pump. In the future, I plan on giving away dash cams, other bolt-ons, other dress-up mods for your car, and things like that. So if you're interested in anything like that, definitely jump in. And of course, the more people that we have, the nicer parts we can buy and kind of the bigger giveaways we can do. So I'm pretty excited for the prospect of this. A lot of people have already jumped in. And if you guys are interested in supporting the channel and future videos, that's a great way to do it while also giving me an opportunity to give back. And again, thank you to everybody that has already signed up for a channel membership. So now let's go ahead and sit back and talk about my history And honestly, I think it's probably the same as what a lot of you guys have grown up with. I was always kind of into cars, and luckily my dad was also into cars, so that gave me a little bit more exposure to different things that were car related. He wasn't really into modifying cars though, so that was something that was always a gap for me. But, he had a cool car when I was growing up. He drove a Dodge Stealth. It was a manual transmission car. It made the right noise and drove the right way, and everything about it was cool. It was just an NAV6, so probably not something that a lot of people would bat an eye at today. But at the time, it was a rocket to me. It was the fastest thing I'd been in, and I just couldn't wait to one day drive that car because seeing my dad behind the wheel just made me feel like that would have been the coolest experience ever. But yeah, like I said, he wasn't really into modifying cars. He kept it completely stock. He was worried more about his warranty and not having a car payment than investing a bunch of money into that car. So I kind of had to get that information in other ways. I got Road and Track magazines, Motor Trend magazines, tried to absorb as much information as possible. We even got Consumer Reports, which probably makes me sound like a nerd, but every year they had one issue where they listed all of the new cars, and it had all their safety ratings, reliability ratings, performance data, all of that. And me and my dad would kind of go through it and just pretend like if we were buying a car, we'd kind of pick which one we would buy and why, who would be faster than who would be left on the side of the road, and just kind of, it gave us more opportunities for discussions like that. So yeah, that's kind of where my mind was at and kind of the exposure that I had. But we never went to car shows. We never went to races or anything. That was just something that I knew I had an interest in the background. Now, of course, eventually I get to high school and I got a car, and it was a 2002 Chevy Malibu in Soccer Mom Gold. Now, I knew I wanted to modify that car, so after I got to college and got my first summer internship, I had some money and I was trying to decide what I wanted to do. Now, this car was also a V6, so it was basically already a race car. Didn't really need to do any performance mods, but I decided that I wanted to modify the audio system and put some speakers in it. Now, at the time, I wasn't really heavy on forums or anything, didn't really have a good way to do research, so my idea was just go to Best Buy and look at the speakers that they had and kind of come up with a plan for how much money it would take and just figure out what the best option would be. And after I left Best Buy, this guy kind of chased me outside and he asked me, are you looking at speakers? Because I have a set, they don't fit my car, and I'll sell it to you for a good deal. And so, of course, I was like, yeah, cool. I went to the bank, pulled out the money, bought the speakers from him. It was something I'd never seen before, so I felt like, that would be a nice, cool setup. And I went back to Best Buy, scheduled some time to get it installed. Same thing, nice, smooth process, and then just went about my way. Now, of course, this was a big learning experience for a couple reasons. One, I ended up actually looking up the speaker and amp that I bought, and I got ripped off. There were multiple options that were available for cheaper than what I paid him. I don't know how much he paid, but I think it's pretty safe to assume that, I kind of got suckered at that point when he saw me just not really knowing what I was looking at. And I guess, I don't know if he could tell I had money. I probably had my work clothes on my way home from work, so I looked like I was just ready for somebody to steal some money from me. And that's definitely what he did. Now, on the other hand, while it was pretty reliable and it sounded good, I started smelling smoke and I saw some smoke coming through the vents. And one time I pulled over and I checked in my trunk and some of the wires were actually like shorting out and melting. So I disconnected the whole system, went and did more research and found out that they had actually installed it wrong, the way that they had wired up the speaker, put it at a resistance that wasn't safe for the amplifier, and it was causing issues and making it overheat. So yeah, I started running into problems almost immediately. And I just realized like if I had done more research the way I had originally planned, I could have gotten it set up exactly how I wanted without running into these issues. And now all I did was waste money, bring it to a shop where a couple kids, basically my age or younger, installed it on my car. They didn't use any power tools. They didn't have a lift or anything. And I'm just thinking, that's something that I could have done. And that's, of course, a big motivation for the channel. Like I said, if you have an idea for what you want your car to do, I want to be able to create videos that help you feel comfortable making that decision. I try not to make any videos that tell you exactly what to do, buying specific parts or going a specific route for fueling or certain upgrades. I just want to give you the information that you need so you can make that decision for yourself. Because ultimately, if you plan out your build appropriately, you'll be happy. It might not be the fastest thing in the world, or in my situation, it might not be the loudest thing on the road, but at least you know that you've got exactly what you want and it's something that you can enjoy. So yeah, completely shifted gears, did a whole bunch of research, ended up getting a completely custom setup. I got a custom built subwoofer. It had like a carbon fiber dust cap and like a huge element. I'll try to see if I can find some old pictures of it. But I got it all custom built. I also bought it a 3000 watt amplifier and I ran it just off of that down to 1 ohm. I don't know if that's a big deal anymore, but at the time it was a really big deal because a lot of people would run like 2 speakers off of an amp that was less than 1000 watts. And here I am running 3000 watts through 1 speaker, right? So yeah, pretty nice setup. I made a custom enclosure. I learned all about the acoustics and how to tune the enclosure to target a specific frequency. Went through all that. I ran it with an extra battery. I ran it with an upgraded alternator, upgraded wiring. All of that was custom to my design. I installed it all myself and I was able to maintain it. You know, if I had an issue, I knew exactly where to go. And I was just super happy with that setup. And the car wasn't much to look at, but you know, the trunk didn't rattle because I put a bunch of sound deadening in it. It was reliable. My headlights didn't dim. I didn't have any electrical issues because I beefed all of that up. And I was just really happy with that setup for a long time. So yeah, that taught me a lot, taught me that I shouldn't be scared to dive into my car a little bit. There are a lot of things that are probably easier to do than you think. You just need the experience and then you can get into it. And as long as you have the time and the space, it's something that most people can jump into. Now, eventually, I graduated from college, got a full-time job, started making more money, and I knew that I wanted to switch gears from, you know, what I was focused on with that car to something more performance related. I was really into Audis. At that time, the B8s had just recently come out, so they had those upgraded LED DRLs on their headlights, and I just thought that was super nice. And I was also obsessed with the RS4, you know, being able to get that car with a manual transmission and all-wheel drive. It'd be like a good daily driver, but it's a V8, so it's really fast. And that's kind of like where my mind was at. Unfortunately, the Malibu blew like 2 head gaskets in 6 months, like Chevys normally do. And I decided that was the last straw. I was over it. So sold the systems, got rid of the car. And since I didn't have enough money to buy an Audi yet, I ended up getting the next best thing. I bought a Volkswagen. Now, this was a Jetta, but it still had the same 2-liter engine. I was pretty familiar with it because now at that time I was pretty heavy on the forums and I'd been reading a lot about tuning and stuff for the Audis, but in a Volkswagen, it's basically the same engine, just rotated for front wheel drive. So I felt pretty comfortable with the car, bought it with the intention of modifying it. The Jetta that I had actually had like a GTI or GLI engine, just with the base Jetta body, so it's a little bit cheaper. And I did everything to that car. I upgraded the headlights, upgraded the taillights, wheels, tires, suspension, all the bolt-ons, you know, intake, downpipe, charge pipes, exhaust. I did everything that I could to that car because I was making pretty good money and I just felt like, why not, right? Make it exactly how I want it. Well, of course, eventually one day I'm driving home trying to see my parents and the car starts misfiring. And that's when I found out, oh, the coil packs can't handle, you know, the boost that's made from the tune I was running. So I was able to upgrade the coil packs back on the road. Then my clutch starts slipping. Oh yeah, the clutch can't handle, you know, the tune that you're running either. So now I go and buy a clutch. Since the transmission was out, I bought an LSD at the same time. Ended up spending thousands of dollars that I wasn't planning on. But finally, I'm back on the road. Then, of course, it's time for my first car show. I've got my car all built up and put together. And there's a local car show every spring. So I bring my car to the show. And I just happened to park next to a car that was almost exactly like mine. And I felt like I was showing off, of course. I pull in next to him, pop my hood, show off my fancy carbon fiber intake and all this stuff. And he pops his hood. And while his car looked mostly stock on the outside, like it had the stock wheels, but it had like R comp tires. I think it had like some R888s. And when he pops his hood, I see he's got a big turbo kit. And in my mind, it just made me feel really stupid because I knew that's what I cared about. Like, that's why I bought this car. I care about performance. I care about going fast. And instead of focusing on that, I basically let the internet troll me into buying all these other mods that everybody told me I have to have if I want my car to be clean, if I want my car to look good. But meanwhile, if I pulled up next to him on the street, you know, he's probably making close to double the horsepower I am, and he would smoke me. So it was just pretty disappointing to see that. And I knew I needed to kind of shift gears. At the time, the engine that I had was also very similar to the B58 in that it was relatively new to Volkswagen. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I can hit back on the forums. I ended up finding a really tight knit community of people that were like minded and focused on performance and just technical details and understanding the cars. I learned about that turbo kit that I saw, and actually I found out that the company that makes it, APR, had injectors that were sold with the turbo kit that supported more than 400 wheel horsepower. And that was like the magic number for us because we had this fuel limitation that prevented us from going past that. But they wouldn't sell the injectors individually, and they wouldn't tell anybody where they got the injectors from, who made them, anything like that. So if you wanted more power, you basically had to buy their turbo kit and their tune. So that was a huge thing in our community. You know, everybody with the 2-liter TSI was trying to find out who makes these injectors, what other cars have injectors like ours, like how can we find one that fits our cylinder head? What can we do to bypass that completely? You know, people started playing with meth injection and things like that. And ultimately, it was just a really fun time to learn about my car, build my car exactly how I wanted to. Eventually, I put it all together how I wanted, and I just learned a lot about it. You know, I felt like that was a really good time for a lot of the people in that community because we focused on data, DIYs, technical discussions, just getting as much as we could out of the information that we had accessible so that we could build our cars exactly how we wanted. And everybody was doing something custom, something different to build it up exactly in the way that they wanted. So yeah, that was just really fun. Unfortunately, that car ended up getting totaled. It got hit on the side. So what I was able to do is pull the engine, pull all my parts off, buy a GLI, keep it mostly stock on the outside, like I had, you know, kind of changed my mindset and just focus on performance. So then bought a big turbo kit, stripped out the interior, put race seats in it, put a bunch of aero on it, and I turned it into like a road race car. That car was a lot of fun, really good on track, not really good on the street. You know, it had club sport suspension, so the springs were really stiff, and just overall, it was really crappy to drive. So even though I had a car that was performing the way I wanted, I still wanted something else that would be like a clean, nice street car, not necessarily a daily driver, but something I could take care of, kind of like the car that my dad had when I was growing up. So that's where the 4 Series came in. And at that time, I was still kind of focused on Audi initially, but none of them came in manual. I couldn't find an S5 in manual. I couldn't find S3 or RS3 in manual, and those were kind of the cars I was interested in. So then at first I was like, well, you know, 435 kind of looks good. Then eventually I learned about the B58. Then I learned about the LCI, and so I just saved a little more money. I waited, I think, about a year and a half, and then eventually ordered my 440. Now, at the time, I thought that this was going to be really similar to how things were with my Jetta. Because, like I said, with this TSI, it was very new at the time, and that was like groundbreaking for Volkswagen. Suddenly, they have a car where the high pressure fuel pump doesn't fail, it doesn't burn oil, it doesn't have, you know, a timing belt. It's got this more reliable timing chain, and basically all of these changes that just made it easier to tune and easier to get power out of it without having, you know, the reliability concerns that older Volkswagen engines had. And now they're on like their 3rd generation of the TSI, so they pretty much locked that in. But with the B58, I was like, okay, we're kind of starting the same way. It's got a fuel cap. We're waiting for people to unlock the DME. It doesn't have a bunch of mods yet. So I started getting on the forums and doing my research. But to my surprise, nobody cared about that stuff. Nobody wanted to know the technical details. I think I remember the first thread that kind of gave me an eye-opening moment. Somebody said that they were having like coolant loss, and my comment was related to, you know, pressure testing it. You know, can you see where the leak's coming from? And they said, no, you know, they're at the dealer, but they're wondering what they're going to find. And then somebody was like, why are you asking this question? Your car's under warranty. Just let the dealer fix it. Like, who cares? And that's when I realized like the community was completely different because everybody there had a car that was less than 2 years old. Everybody had a warranty. The most that people were doing was like a JB4 and a downpipe. So the rest of the community really only cared if like 335 and performance exhausts fit on their 340. Like that's as much as people were kind of extending their reach to try to figure things out. Otherwise, nobody really cared about the technical details of things. Nobody knew what was under the hood of their car. And so I started trying to create threads to support those discussions. And, you know, I posted things about suspension, the engine, and just different things that I was trying to focus on. Some of you guys might have found me from Bimmer Post as well, because I created like the log review thread where after we got some tuning options, I just wanted to know what the different logs looked like. I wanted to know how different tunes ran. So I created that thread so people would send me data. And while I'm trying to help them, I can also learn how much boost they run, how much timing they run, what controls the boost and timing, and things like that. And so, over time, I'm still trying to create all these threads, but somebody gave me the idea to convert it into video format. And that had never been an idea for me. I'd been making threads since 2011, and nobody ever questioned my 15-page essays that I would type into a single post. And I had no problem reading that from other people. But they were like, you can kind of put it in an easier to digest format. People can watch it and learn something and share it with people that aren't on forums or don't care to like read all this information. So I slowly started, experimenting with that. The first kind of idea that I had was when tunes came out, people were always wondering how much power their cars made. And, they're arguing about different dynos and different amount of power, wheels versus crank horsepower. And eventually, of course, most of the community settled on, people that were just going on a dyno with a stage 1 or stage 2 tune didn't tell us a whole lot. We needed a before and after. And so I thought I was going to be the hero. I'm going to take my car to a shop, get it on the dyno with a stock tune, then flash stage 1. It'll show the actual gains and we'll see it side by side and it'll kill the argument. I'll be the hero. Of course, that wasn't the case. My car wasn't dynoed correctly. It read too high stock. It must have had the M performance tune. The dyno reads too high. I was cheating. I did something. Like all of the stuff just started more arguments than we had before. So, it kind of motivated me to keep going because I felt like even though other people might not see value in it, I did. And that's the kind of information I wish other people were posting. So I started posting more. I posted the DIY for my fuel pump install. I posted data on IATs and how I was trying to beat them with my intake that didn't really help and my upgraded heat exchanger that didn't really help. And then ended up not really caring as much because I realized that my car could kind of handle it and had a good enough cooling system. And I just kind of started following that process and posting up more and more videos. Posted like the spark plug video, the oil video, all that stuff around that time. But eventually, I really wanted to modify my car. And that's when I found out that I can actually use my channel to get sponsorships, to get paid, to just basically support my hobby and help my hobby support itself. And so that's when I really started pushing. And about 2 years ago, I started posting at least twice a week. That's when my DOCRace video went live. It was almost 2 years to the day from now. It was in February of 2021. And that's really when things changed. After I posted that video, I got over 1,000 subscribers and I finally got the channel monetized to where it could pay me. And I just knew at that point that this was something that I really wanted to take seriously. Stop posting, Harry Potter books on BimmerPost and start creating videos so that people can kind of see this content a lot easier and just get more information in a way that it's accessible to you and enjoyable to you without having to read a long, drawn-out story. So yeah, that's really what got me started on YouTube. Again, my whole goal here is to help you guys understand how you want to build your car. I don't want to tell you exactly what you need to do. I hopefully can give you guys good options that will support your goals, but ultimately you should feel enabled to make that decision yourself. And then when you go on the road, just enjoy it. Nobody can tell you that something's wrong with your car if you're driving it exactly how you want. If you just want to run pump gas and you don't want to run ethanol or methanol, that's fine. If you don't want to upgrade your turbo, cool too. If you're worried about emissions and you only want to run a stage 1 tune, I still feel like the stage 1 tune is the absolute best bang for your buck out there. There's really just so many different ways that you can enjoy your car. I've enjoyed my car every step of the way from stock to where it is now. And although it's a lot more fun, I can definitely see, the argument for maybe not going as far as I have. And I'm excited to start over with the 340. More videos on that will be coming soon. I still need to post up, my flex fuel testing for you guys. I have a couple other DIYs that are going to be coming out over the next couple weeks. So yeah, lots more in store for this channel. Definitely stick around, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all of that jazz. And again, just thank you guys for your support and helping me get this far. We're just going to keep getting bigger and better this year. Hopefully posting a lot more newer, fresher type of content. I'm going to try to mix it up and post more kind of vlog kind of style stuff from the 340, maybe even travel a little bit with the 440. We'll just kind of see what this year will hold. So yeah, that's it for this video. Again, thank you for watching and subscribing. Hope this video helps. And if you have any other questions or comments, leave them down below.